The Citi Custom Cash Card is easily one of the best no annual fee cards on the market, and is honestly a great card to add to anyone's wallet. In this video, we'll give a full review of the Citi Custom Cash Credit Card, including how to use the card, the main benefits and cons of the card, any fees to be aware of, and how to best utilize this card along with other cashback credit cards to maximize your cashback every month. If you're new here, welcome to Walliterate. I'm Ashley. On this channel, we talk about all things budgeting, saving up, and saving money. If you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to click like and subscribe. Please note, I'm not a financial advisor or accountant, and this video is for general educational purposes only. No official financial advice is being given. Feel free to pause the video to read the disclaimer or find the full disclaimer in the video description below. What's most attractive about the Citi Custom Cash Credit Card is its cashback rate and structure. You can earn 5% cashback on a category of your choice from their set list, on up to $500 spent each billing cycle. What makes this card so great is it's easy to use and flexible. Unlike some cards, like the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards credit card, you don't need to go in and manually select the category of your choice or manually change it when you want to get cashback on a different category one month. The Citi Custom Cash Card makes it super easy. All you have to do is use your card to spend as you normally do, and Citi does the work for you. They automatically give you the 5% cashback on the eligible category you've spent the most in within a given billing cycle. Let's say you spent the most at grocery stores during one billing cycle, but then during your next billing cycle, you spent the most at gas stations. It'll give you the 5% cashback automatically for that highest spend category each billing cycle, without you having to lift a finger. The Citi Custom Cash Card is also a lot more convenient than the revolving category cards like the Chase Freedom Flex and Discover It cashback cards, as those cards require you to activate the offer manually each quarter in order to receive the 5% cashback on their rotating spend categories. What's great is that the spend caps also work out to be about the same. The Chase and Discover cards cap your spend amount at $1,500 each quarter for the 5% cashback, which works out to an average of $500 a month, while the Citi card simply caps it at $500 a billing cycle, which comes once a month. Now let's talk about some of the main benefits of this card. As we mentioned, you'll earn that 5% cashback on your highest eligible spend category each billing cycle for up to $500 spent, and then you'll earn 1% cashback for purchases made in that category after that for that billing cycle. The categories you can choose from for the 5% cashback are grocery stores, restaurants, gas stations, select travel, select transit, select streaming services, drugstores, fitness clubs, home improvement stores, and live entertainment. Now, it's best to avoid going over the $500 cap, as you'll only earn 1% cashback over that cap for the rest of the billing cycle. You'll also earn 1% cashback on all other purchases you make with the card as well. Although each billing cycle basically works out to once a month, you'll want to have a rough idea of what your billing cycle is for your card, and keep it in mind, so you can be sure you're structuring your spending to avoid going over the $500 cap for that billing cycle, or mixing your target spend categories up if you do use the card for different categories during different billing cycles. For example, my billing cycle usually starts between the 9th and 11th of each month. So if I'm using my card at grocery stores, I'll want to aim to spend $500 or less from that date in a given month to that date of the following month. If I decide to use my card at gas stations for the next month, I'll want to wait until that new billing cycle starts, around the 9th to 11th of that month. Now, if you just use the card for the same category every month, then you don't have to worry as much about mixing your categories. You can just keep an eye on the cap to avoid going over it. Now, there are some restrictions with regard to what counts under each category to earn the 5% cashback. For example, if you plan to use your card for 5% cashback at grocery stores, purchases at general merchandise or discount superstores, wholesale or warehouse clubs, and candy, nut, and confectionery stores will not qualify for the 5% cashback, so stores like Walmart and Costco would not qualify. Purchases made at online supermarkets or with grocery delivery services won't qualify either, if the merchant doesn't classify itself as a supermarket with a supermarket merchant category code. For the restaurant category, purchases at bakeries, caterers, restaurants that are located inside another business, like in hotels, stores, grocery stores, warehouse clubs, or stadiums, and third-party dining delivery services do not qualify for the 5% cashback. As for gas stations, purchases at warehouse clubs, discount stores, convenience stores, or other merchants that don't use the gas station merchant category code will not qualify for the 5% cashback. For example, Costco gas stations wouldn't qualify. Citi does provide a list of what does and doesn't qualify for each category you can choose, so you can check out their website if you'd like to learn more about what's included under each of their categories. Another huge plus of the Citi Custom Cash Card is its current sign-up bonus. You can earn a $200 cashback bonus after you spend $1,500 on purchases within the first 6 months of opening your account. That works out to spending an average of just $250 a month, so it's pretty easy to hit that spend amount within the allotted time period, just with your everyday purchases you normally make, like buying your groceries every month at your go-to grocery store. Keep in mind the bonus comes in the form of 20,000 thank you points, which can be redeemed for $200 cashback as a statement credit to your account, a direct deposit, or a check. With this card, you can also take advantage of a 0% intro APR for 15 months on purchases, as well as balance transfers that are completed within 4 months of opening your account. It's best not to keep a balance on your credit cards to avoid having to pay interest, but you will have that 15-month period where you can just make your minimum monthly payments and won't have to pay any interest on your balance if need be. Just be sure not to miss any payments and pay that full balance off before the 0% APR ends. There's also no annual fee for this card, so you don't need to worry about whether the benefits of the card are worth the cost of having the card each year. Now, there are a few main fees to keep in mind. Once that 0% intro APR ends, the APR will become variable and currently ranges between 18.99% and 28.99% based on your creditworthiness. Again, you'll want to avoid keeping a balance on the card, particularly once that 0% intro APR runs out, so that you can avoid paying interest. As an example, my APR is currently 24.99%, though I don't keep a balance on my card so I can avoid paying any interest. There is a foreign transaction fee of 3%, so it's a good idea to use a different credit card with no foreign transaction fees to make international purchases. As with most credit cards, there's also a balance transfer fee, which will be either $5 or 5% of the amount of each transfer, whichever is greater. If you can, it's best to avoid balance transfers altogether though, to avoid paying those fees. Now let's talk about the cons. This card doesn't have a lot of cons, honestly, especially since it gives 5% cashback with no annual fee. One of the main cons is that the spend cap for the 5% cashback is a bit low at $500 each billing cycle. This is pretty common with no annual fee cards that offer 5% cashback though, like the Chase Freedom Flex and Discover It cashback cards, which have that $1,500 a quarter spend cap, which works out to an average of $500 a month. If you have a large family and you're using your Citi Custom Cash Card at grocery stores or at restaurants, for instance, it's pretty easy to go over that cap. But if you're single or you just live with your partner, you may still be able to stay under that $500 cap. For me personally, I'm able to stay under the cap for my grocery budget each month, which usually works out to $400 to $500 a month. Another main con is that you can only earn the 5% cashback in one category. There are some cards that offer 5% cashback in more than one category, like the US Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Credit Card, and with the Chase and Discover Revolving Category credit cards, you'll sometimes get 2 or even 3 5% cashback categories featured in a given quarter, just for one of those cards. Another slight con of the card is the foreign transaction fee of 3%, but it's easy to avoid paying that by just using a different card for international purchases that doesn't have foreign transaction fees, like Capital One cards for example. The last minor con is that this card doesn't give a great baseline cashback rate compared to some other cards, like the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, which offers 1.5% cashback on non-category spend, in addition to offering 3 to 5% cashback in several other spend categories. For Citi Custom Cash, they're only giving 1% cashback for non-category purchases, which is pretty standard for most credit cards on the market. This isn't super important though, as it's best to have a dedicated catch-all credit card that offers at least 2% cashback on those miscellaneous purchases. The Citi Custom Cash Card is a great card to plan to use for just one main spend category if you don't have any revolving category cards. And if you can plan out your spending a little, you can maximize your cashback each billing cycle. If you do have revolving category cards, by structuring your spending a bit more, you can get 5% cashback on multiple categories across a few different cards. In general, the Citi Custom Cash Card is often best for purchases at grocery stores, restaurants, or gas stations, since these are all common categories that many people spend a few $100s on every month. If you know you'll max out the cap in a different category though, you may want to consider using the card for that category instead, especially if you have other cards that offer you decent cashback on those main categories. For example, if you're doing a home renovation or moving into a new place, you might want to opt for the home improvement category, as you could easily reach that $500 maximum spend for the months that you make those purchases. Or if you're planning to go to an amusement park or some concerts soon, you may want to use the card for the months that you make those purchases, as live entertainment purchases tend to reach that $500 cap pretty easily as well. A few great cards to pair with the Citi Custom Cash Card are the revolving category cards we mentioned, Chase Freedom Flex and Discover It Cashback. With these cards, after activating the offer, you'll get 5% cashback on common spend categories which change each quarter, according to the cashback calendar of each of the cards. While the categories of these two cards sometimes overlap, there will often be more than one category featured for each card in a given quarter. Even when the categories do overlap, you can still double your spend cap in those categories if you utilize both cards. Of course, you'll want to also keep tabs before the start of each quarter to see which new categories will be featured on the cashback schedule of those rotating category cards, so you can plan out which cards to use for which categories over the next 3 months, and use the Citi Custom Cash Card for a spend category that isn't covered by those cards that quarter. For example, in Q3 this year, Discover is offering 5% cashback at gas and EV charging stations, as well as on digital wallet purchases, while Chase is offering 5% cashback at gas and EV charging stations, as well as on select live entertainment. So one strategy would be to use Discover for digital wallet purchases exclusively, which are widely accepted at most stores, and use Chase for gas stations, EV charging stations, and select live entertainment. Then you could use your Citi Custom Cash Card for another category that you tend to spend a lot on each month, that you're not already getting 5% cashback on with other cards, of course. A good option would be grocery stores or restaurants if you eat out a lot. For me, I have the US Bank Altitude Go card, which offers 4% cashback on dining, including dine-in, takeout, and delivery. And I don't spend as much on dining as I do on groceries every month, so I'll plan to use the Citi card at grocery stores for up to $500 spent each month. The Citi Custom Cash Card is one of my favorite no annual fee cards on the market due to the ability to choose which common category you get 5% cash back on. The $500 per billing cycle spend cap for the 5% cashback isn't too bad, and the $200 sign-up bonus really sweetens the deal. Of course, you'll need pretty good credit to be approved for this card. Be sure to also look up the most up-to-date offer before applying for the card to make sure you get the best deal available, especially for any welcome bonuses. Let me know in the comments, do you have the Citi Custom Cash Card? And if so, which category do you usually use it for to get the 5% cash back? If you don't have it yet but are thinking of getting it, what category would you mainly use it for? If you don't have a catch-all credit card yet for your miscellaneous purchases, or are considering getting a new catch-all card that offers higher cash back, we actually have a whole video dedicated to the best catch-all credit cards out right now, with many offering straight 2% cashback on your purchases. So if you want to learn more about them, you can check that video out next. If you found this video helpful, it'd be great if you could do us a favor and click like and subscribe. It really helps our channel get our videos out to even more people to help them save money, and it's completely free. If you want to be notified when we post new videos, make sure you also hit that notification bell when subscribing. Thanks for watching and see you next time.